Dr. Katan Ahmed writing in an op-ed, and I quote, "I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but now that he will be my president, I stand ready to collaborate with his administration to defeat our shared enemy, Islamism, also known as radical Islam."
The author of In the Land of Invisible Women, Dr. Katan Ahmed, joins us now. Doctor, good to have you here.
Great to be here.
Really was a powerful op-ed that you wrote. And it's not just you. There are other Muslims that are speaking out saying, you know, they are standing by Mr. Trump to fight Islam. Why did you want to write this piece?
He's our president, and I think it's very important as a citizen for us to support him. I'm actually invigorated with the possibilities of Trump administration. It's an opportunity for us to take a fresh look at Islamism, the totalitarian ideology that masquerades as Islam, and come up with solutions to defeat it.
Have you been criticized for writing that piece?
No, not that I'm aware of.
So, I mean, General Flynn has been criticized as the new national security advisor for being anti-Islam or Islamophobic. How do you read? He's said some very candid things about the political nature of Islam. How do you read an appointment like that?
So I would probably distinguish it. I don't know much about General Michael Flynn, but my knowledge is very clear that Islam is not a political ideology. Islamism is, and that's a very important distinction. Someone like General Flynn can be forgiven because we really haven't made that distinction in the United States. And looking at it with fresh eyes, hopefully with our new president, may give us that opportunity. Unlike President Obama, who went at the beginning of his first presidency to Cairo to give a speech, I think our new president should go to places like Louisville, Kentucky, home of one of the greatest Muslims in America in history, Muhammad Ali, or Dearborn, Michigan, home to the biggest American Muslim communities in the United States, and engage with us just as he's engaged with every other American through this process.
Speaking of that, when you look back in the past 8 years, what has President Obama gotten wrong when it comes to fighting terrorism, when it comes to labeling it for what it is? And what can Mr. Trump learn from these past 8 years, in your opinion, to get it right?
So I think one of the chief things that's been very difficult for a Muslim like me, observing Islam, but devoted to combating Islamism, is to find a space to talk about this. And that's hindered by people not understanding the language, and a previous president or a president about to leave the White House not encouraging that conversation. That empowers only those who would masquerade as Muslims, only those who support a radical ideology that is not a religion, but is a political totalitarianism.
And I've always felt like for those moderate Muslims or others who mainstream, you would want that distinction, because otherwise you have this sort of, you have a joining of the two that you wouldn't want. I mean, how do you draw that distinction even more powerfully?
So that's a great point, Pete, exactly. And that's where Muslims like me can come and help this new administration in making that distinction. Islam is a very simple faith. The 5 principles: worship, charity, fasting, visiting Mecca if you have the means, believing in one God. That's the sum total of Islam.
Sure.
Islamism is seeking to overturn the existing world order and is a direct threat to secular liberal democracies everywhere. There's no mistake about that. It's a very big distinction.
And what can the Muslim community quickly do to help?
We must give the new president a chance. Islam has a tremendous tradition of welcoming a guest. We must allow President Trump to come